Mercy pocket and the hit scan made the game unplayable. You had so many. Okay, look, you had so many things. You had, I'd say obviously the first one, in my opinion, the first big situation where it was a problem was when they added Brig. Right, you had the issue that you had dive being prevalent in the game for a long time was problematic. You had periods where Sombra was problematic in the game, but I would say that the biggest issue with the game is when they added Brig. Because they added a character because they didn't know how to fix dive, and they basically just completely released an uncaged monster to the game. So that was really, really bad. Well, I guess actually technically Mercy Mothmeta was, because apparently Mercy came out first. In my head, I thought Brig came out first, but the Mercy rework, I don't remember if it's before or after. That basically made the game unplayable for such a long time, because you had the meta where it was like Widow plus Mercy. Every game was dictated by Widow Mercy, and it was just completely disgusting. You had no chance. The worst possible metas you can have in hero shooters is metas where snipers are overpowered. Sniping is the most frustrating part of this game. It is awful and awfully frustrating to play against, because there is fundamentally nothing you can do. If the enemy sniper is good enough at the game, he's going to beat you every time. Never played Overwatch. Why is 5v5 bad? Well, 5v5 was designed to make DPS have more impact in the game, because DPS were always, for the longest time in Overwatch, the weakest role, and tank and support, and tank especially in Overwatch 1 was the strongest role. So by shrinking the cast, it meant that every player had more individual impact in the game. The problem they had was that in my opinion, the best part about Overwatch, or one of the best parts about Overwatch, was that tank as a role, tank was the tank synergies, the tank duos was the most interesting part of the game, and is a massive part of what dictated the meta. Like playing Rein Zarya, playing Winston D.Va, playing Orisa Hog, playing whatever it is. It's clear to me that most of the tanks were designed with the concept of them being played with another tank in mind, right? It was never, like, tanks were never made to be played solo. They were never designed to be played solo. They were designed to be played with another tank. So what ended up happening is that you had to rework half the tanks in the game that didn't function solo. Like tanks like Zarya, tanks like D.Va, tanks like Hog. You had to rework them into tanks that would be playable solo. And effectively what you did was you created these monsterly ridiculous characters that just turbo stat checked you. They just became stat check characters. So like, I mean, Zarya probably less so, but like Hog was the best example of a character that just became a pure stat check character. He had no intricacies in his kit anymore. His hook would never one-shot you. He was a high-risk, high-reward character. Now he went to a low-risk, medium-reward character. You just ran into the enemy team and you were unkillable. You could do whatever the fuck you wanted. It was just dumb. So basically, the entire role of tank just became completely boring. It became insanely boring. And it became super one-dimensional. And honestly, I don't know if it became more important than ever, but like, it was definitely like up there, right? So it's like if you played an off-meta tank, you just have no chance of winning because you didn't have another tank to compensate for your weaknesses. It's like if you played Zarya, then you as long as you had like a Rein or a Winston on your team, you could compensate the fact that you don't really have any like frontline pressure. So it's like, I don't know. But since they made the role into one, it basically ruined that perspective of the game. So that was the biggest problem with 5v5. But I think Overwatch ran into the issue of like, I think that the devs didn't understand how to fix their own game, and that's obviously like understandable because it's a hard problem to fix. Because I think the way they released characters was a problem. I think that they had a problem in the game and they'd release a character in order to fix the problem, and then that character that they released would end up creating like 3 more major problems. And then in order to fix that, they need to add another. It just became a incredibly awful situation. 6v6 was back and have some fun. Yeah, but like 6v6 in Overwatch is fun because of nostalgia, not because of anything else. I think that the game is I mean, it's past its prime. It's cool. Like, yes, you look back at, like, when you play the 6v6 mode, you look back at how much fun you had in Overwatch, and it's like, okay, well, what if they didn't make this decision to go 6v6? But then you realize that the decision to go 5v5, it's a one-way decision. You can't unring that bell. Because even if they did decide to go back to 6v6, they'd have to rework all of the tanks in the game again. And reworking all the tanks in the game again is a massive commitment. That they won't do. And if they do, they won't do it well. I one-shot the Luna here. It's so hard to one-shot Luna with magical. You can do it, but it's like... Come here, Alan. I think Riot have forced that commitment, to be honest, with that 2 seasons. I mean, Overwatch, if they're smart... Kawhi is out for tonight's game. Don't fucking cap me, bro. There's no way Kawhi is out for today's game. You're gaslighting me, right? Like, if Overwatch is smart, they just need to put the game on live support. They need to invest minimal time into the game as they can, and just keep making and invest in skins and just try to make as much money from the game as possible. I think the game's done really well, and I think Blizzard have already understood for the most part that I think that their days of making high quality games are done. I don't think that they can produce the high quality games that they used to, and I think now they're just trying to milk everything they can out of what they've done in the past. And I think I actually don't think that's a bad thing. It feels a bit bad as the consumer because you end up getting delivered a shit product, but like from a business perspective, that's exactly what I would do if I was Blizzard. Accept the fact that your game's not what it used to be and never will be, and just try to make squeeze out as much money as it can. You're not getting me. I mean, the problem is, if I want to play the game, I want to play DPS Doom, and I can't. He does not exist anymore. And that, to me, causes a slight problem.
My team is AFK. My team is so scared. My team is AFK. My team is so scared. My team is AFK. My team is so scared. My team is AFK. It's just bullshit. Hey, friends. We're all friends here. Hey, friends.